And we're back here at the Shacknews Awards deliberations, but I don't think we have to deliberate too much on this one. This is the Shacknews Esports Hero of 2020. And esports was definitely racked with a ton of adversity this year, right? A lot of cancellations of events, a lot of events having to go online. But one of our favorite players, was a Quake professional. The Quake Pro League. I know we said we would never talk about Quake Champions again, David, but here we are. Yeah. They rebooted their esports effort last year at QuakeCon, right? And that was the start of the Quake Pro League season.
Right.
And the intention was that the World Championship of the Quake Pro League would be at the next QuakeCon. So the culmination of this season, and I think they had different, I don't know what you call them, tiers to the thing, came down to QuakeCon at home, which was their pivot this year, where all the players were at home and they played online in Quake Champions. Rapha from Team Liquid had one of the most dominant runs I think I've ever seen in Quake. And this is someone who's been watching it since the days of Fatality. We got to see a true heart of a champion this year in Rapha, and he had lost his significant other earlier in the year, suddenly, took a very tragic death, had been very quiet about that for most of the year. This is something where, they had always gone to QuakeCon together, and if you've been to QuakeCon, you know how tight-knit of a family vibe it is there. It's like camp or something. You see friends there that you don't see the rest of the year. So everyone really got behind Rapha. In esports, especially 1v1 esports, you tend to see a lot of tribalism and people rooting for their person, and being mad if the other person wins. I've never seen an outpouring of affection like what we saw for Rapha during QuakeCon at home this year. It was universal love and support, not just from fans, but from fellow competitors, which I thought was really cool to see. And outside of just the emotional storyline, the way he played was outstanding. And there were times where he might have been eliminated early on in the tournament, and he had these massive comebacks, and anyone who's played Quake, any kind of Quake, knows that there are these pivotal moments in a match that if you didn't get the quad, or if you didn't get that railgun at that time, you were gonna lose. I really recommend people go back and watch this the Quake World Championship run that Rapha had. There were multiple times during his tournament where you had to look at it and be like, this is one of those days where he's just not going to lose.
Yeah.
And, we've seen it with MKLeo, at EVO last year, where he was in the loser's bracket and just said, no, I'm not going to lose. To see Rapha do what he did was so damn impressive. And I think there are definitely other awesome esports stories this year, but for Shacknews, I think this is pretty much undeniably Rapha is our esports hero of the year.
Yeah, there are esports guys who have had good years. Like you mentioned Leo, there's Striker for Overwatch League, there's T6 for Call of Duty, but I don't think anything's touching Rapha's story. I remember Slasher said it on Twitter. He said, there's nothing better than competitive Quake at its best. Mm-hmm. And that's definitely what this was with Rapha. So I can't argue with this. Also because I haven't kept up with the esports scene as much as I normally do in 2020. But
it's been hard to do, Ozzy. It's not normally you're invited to events. You're going to be going to a Hearthstone thing, or you're going to be going to a Mortal Kombat thing. I remember the last flight you took to Chicago. Was for a Mortal Kombat event that
didn't happen.
Yeah. So I think it's not our fault entirely that we haven't been able to cover esports as intensely this year, because esports hasn't been able to be itself this year. And just for like a short moment at QuakeCon at home, we got to feel that same magic. Like, I just wish so much that that could have happened at the Gaylord Texan, and that we could have all been there to watch that. That arena would have gone nuts. And like,
there definitely would have been like live events, like a League of Legends, like the international. We didn't get the international this year. We didn't get a live Evo. We didn't get any of the major events. But you know what? This was about as good as it gets right here. So
I really think so. Like, there's probably some stories from LoL Worlds that rival this, but at least in just competition standpoint. But if you combine the emotional story, and also what I find interesting about esports most of the time are individual esports, where it's 1v1 stuff versus teams. I feel like teams, it's like a football team in the NFL. Players change all the time, right? But when it's a fighting game and it's Sonic Fox, or it's Leo, or it's Arslan Ash, you know, like, you know this is that person. And I think Rapha is, I can't think of a better ambassador for Quake Esports right now. And he handled himself super well.
Yeah, I mean, even in a year where esports, if we were in a year where esports was normal, I still think this would probably be the best story, because, like, I don't know what I would do if I lost the most precious person in my life, but I certainly don't know if I'd be able to pull myself together and win a esports tournament and play the best games of my life the following season. That is amazing.
I mean, it's like something out of a movie, right? It's like totally like something you would see in like a sports movie about like somebody trying to, you know, get their life back together after like losing somebody.
That
but then
trope
like you
of overcoming adversity that you see in a sports movie or something, for sure.
But in real life, I mean, he was fighting for somebody, you know, and like the emotion of that win, like when you watch that video of him, like, you know, winning, he loses it, you know, he breaks down, like he, like, you know, just thinking about like him having to like how he kept himself so composed and like so together through the whole thing, and then once it was over, he just like let it all out. You know? Like it's raw. It's really raw to watch, and it's so bittersweet, really. Like, you know, to have that victory, but like, and like to have done it for like somebody you love, but that person is gone. You know, like, there's a duality there.
Way to honor their memory, and it's I've watched a lot of Quake. That was a different energy than I've seen most people bring to professional Quake.
Oh yeah.
And we're talking about a legend. You know, this isn't his first time winning. You know, this is like Jordan level victories. You know, we're talking 6 world championships here. So he's no slouch, but it's in the face of adversity, how he performed, how he handled himself, and the message that he sent out to other people who could learn from that inspirational message. That's why I can't think of anyone better for this award this year.
All right.
So that's it. Shane Hendrickson, aka Liquid Rapha, you are our Shacknews Esports Hero of 2020. You know how to do it for Shacknews, sir.
There's no way I was gonna lose today. I wasn't letting it happen.
I mean, I can feel your emotion, bro, and I want to be here with you like so much. I know that you have had a rough year. It says so much about you as a human, as a player, as a role model in the world of esports, for you to take this win.